Now it's time for the Eliminator RC Tip of the Week.
Hi, I'm Ryan from Eliminator RC. This week's tech tip, mounting your tires. Now as you see here, we have some pretty nice crawler tires. We're going to go ahead and install these Super Swampers on some beadlock rims so you can see how it's done. We have some half-ounce strip weights which have already gone down and cut into individual pieces. And if you notice, the rim has indents, which are probably made for a certain style of weight, but we're going to go ahead and use these universal ones. Now that we've got all the weights installed on this rim, let's go ahead and install our tires. If you look at these tires here, they usually are directional. These ones have the side lugs pointing forward. So you got to make sure that you have them all in the right order so that if you have to reverse them, you can reverse them and you're not running one reversed, one forward. Because the weights are on the rim, it makes it a little bit harder to get the tire on. What I like to do is rotate the rim while I push, and that helps get it over. Now that your rim is inside the tire, comes the part of seating the bead. That's the problem with bead locks sometimes, is people will try to put a tire on a flat surface, and while you seat the bead, all it's doing is pushing the tire pressure up, which makes it harder for you to get it on the bead. This is where a little trick comes in. I like to use a container. You go ahead and place the container over the rim. So you can pull the tire down and it goes over the container. This not pushing up on the rubber, allowing you to seat the bead properly. Now that your bead's all in, you can go ahead and install your bead lock ring. What I usually like to do is I'll put 2 screws in. One on the far corner, one on the close corner. This keeps even amount of pressure on. The next 2 screws I put in are going to be on the opposite edges so that you have all 4 corners covered. Then you do not tighten them up, you just snug them. That way you're not going to strip any out and the ring's seated flat on the rim. Now comes the tricky part, the other side. As you can see, the tire's already wanting to pull off. This is where you're going to have to use 2 hands to install this ring. Again, place it on the container, pull the tire back just a little bit, and go ahead and start seating in your bead. Now that your bead's seated, keep one hand on it to keep the tire pulled back. Make sure your ring is on the right way. And go ahead and put 1 screw in. I usually like to lift the ring up just a little bit just to see the screw hole. Hold your 2 fingers on the ring, and you can go ahead and start screwing in the 1 screw. Same motion as the other ring, the crisscross. Now that you have your 2 major ones in, you can go ahead and set it on a flat surface and do your other 2. And there you go, we're all done. Now go have some fun with your RCs, and I'm going to get back to working on some here.